Howdy Huskies, Mr. Naughton here. We're on day 6. We're going to show you how to solve systems using matrices. Now we've done this in the past, and when we did this in the past, you guys went ahead and you used, I want to say like substitution and elimination. Matrices are so much easier. So in the past, we went ahead and we used it where your x's went on top and your y went on bottom, and these were your points. Okay, so that was point number 1, point number 2, and point number 3. Well, when you're solving systems, you're going to write them a little bit differently. All of your x's are going to be at the start, then your y's, and then what that value that equals. So this right here represents one equation. I'm just going to go EQN. And then this will be another equation, and then the third equation down there. So it's a little bit different. So the way we put them in the matrix into our calculator is going to make all the difference. So make sure, ladies and gents, you have your calculators ready. If not, hit pause, get them out, and then come back. So we're going to have a couple of different forms. So our first form that we're going to look at is this RR, row reduced echelon form, or RREF. Now, this is a cool little tool. Don't get so focused on what it means or how the operation goes. What it's going to do is it's just going to basically do the inverse for us. It's just pretty cool. So if you get your calculator out, you can see right here. Right here, I have a little key press history to sort of help see where we go. But if you go to on, and then you could go to second, matrix, and then you can see where I'm at. If you go over to math, hit over, and then you're going to have to go all the way down, or sometimes it's easier just to go up. And then what you see here at B is that RREF, not the REF. That's a different thing. So you just want RREF, and that's going to be what we're going to be using in our calculator. So it's really that RREF and the parentheses. So this is the button that we're going to need to remember on our calculator. So I'm just going to put button right here. And so you have an x plus y is equal to c. Then you have a dx plus ey is equal to f. So what we're really going to take is we're going to take the a, b, and c is you're going to just write this into a matrix. So it goes a, b, c. And then you're going to take your d, your e, and your f and write them in the second row of your matrix. And so this right here is going to be your RREF matrix. So notice we ditched our x's and y's. Those, we just lined them up, and then we said, nope, you're good. So that's how we're going to write it when it's asking for reduced echelon form. And then if it's asking for inverse form, that's going to be a little bit different, but we'll use the same notation. So ax plus by is equal to c. Sorry, we're going to make this bigger so we can see it. Then dx plus ey is equal to f. So I'm going to take the a and the b, and that's going to become the top row of a matrix. And then I'm going to take the d and the e, and that's going to become the bottom row of that matrix. So this right here is going to be your coefficient matrix. And then you have your letters, which are x and y. So that's going to be what's known as our variable matrix, because those are the variables we're using. And then, for lack of a better term, we're going to call it our constant matrix, which is the c and the f. And that's what it's equal to. So we multiply those, and it's equal to our coefficient matrix c and f. So the way we're going to write this is that we think of this as a times our variable matrix is equal to b. And so when we solve this, we'll go ahead and we'll show you how that's going to happen once we get to number 2. But I know this is a lot, so let's just kind of look at these. Clearly, you guys are going to like this one better. I think as math teachers, we like this one better. I know Mr. Mortara for sure actually likes this one better. So, but they're the same way to do it, and it shows you why we need to do inverses. So that's why we did the last day was we have inverses. So that's why we did that one. So what we're going to do in this next one is just practice practice writing. So we're going to do the RREF, which is our row reduced echelon form matrix first. So you're just going to go across 3, -5, 7. So 3, -5, 7. And then we'll do 2. That's a 1 because there's no number there. And then 4. 2, 1, 4. And then that, my friends, is our row reduced echelon form matrix. Everyone likes that one. It's a lot easier. It's to do the inverse one, it's a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to erase these so we can see the colors line up. So 3, -5, and then I have a 2 and a 1. So that is our coefficient matrix times our variable matrix. So our variables we have are x and y. So we'll go x and y. So that's our variable matrix. And that's equal to the numbers they're going to go equal to. So that's our constant matrix. So we'll call that 7 and a 4. So 7, 4. You're like, Mr. N, I already like the first one. Can we just do that one? Well, yeah. After the directions say pick which one you want, do the first one. But they say write both. So we have them both. Okay. So this is A times X is equal to B. And then this is just right over here, this is just my RREF. So this is one matrix, the other one is 3, just so you know. All right, guys, go ahead and hit pause and try this one. Write down your both forms, and then come back and we'll see how you did. Welcome back. So my RREF is going to be 10, -9, 1. And then we're going to have 7, 6, 13. So that's our RREF matrix. It's the one we like to do because it's a lot easier. All right, let's try the inverse. This is the one we got to see how well you did. This one's tricky. So 10, -9, 7, 6. So 10, -9, 7, 6. It's our coefficient matrix. And then I have an x and a y. So my variable is x's and y's. And then we'll set that equal to my coefficient, or the constants, which is 1 and 13. Alrighty, my notation here, multiply equals, and this is our inverses. Cool? Alrighty, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's go ahead and now solve. So our directions on this one say solve by the inverses. So we're going to do the inverses because that's what they tell me to do. So they have it already in our matrix form. So this is A times X is equal to B, is how the notation goes. So how do you solve this? So what you're going to do is if you multiply this side right here by the inverse of that matrix, and I'm going to do it this way, because the way we multiply our matrices, the order matters. So I'm going to multiply the inverse first. Then this part right here becomes the identity matrix, which is just going to be the 1. So identity matrix, which is just a fancy way of saying it cancels out. So all I'm going to have is X is equal to A -1 times B. So what that means is to find your answer, which that X is our answer, you're going to go ahead and take the inverse of A, which is why we did the inverse, and then multiply that times matrix B. Okay, so how do we do that on the calculator? Because I know we did matrices in the last video, but it'd be really nice if I didn't have to. Well, this symbol right here, this -1, that is an inverse. So if that is our inverse, all we have to do is tell the calculator to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out of this mode and go ahead and put up my calculator here. And I'm going to go ahead and move this over to the side so we can still see everything. Turn my calculator on. So if we were to do this by hand, we would turn the calculator on and we would have this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and call this my A and my B matrix to make this a little bit easier. So matrix A, so second matrix, go over to edit, hit enter. So this is going to be a 2 by 2 matrix. Notice you can see my keystrokes, and so you can see what I'm doing right there. So then we go 2, and then a -1, and then a 0, and then a 2. So I just plugged in everything. Now I'm going to hit second quit to go ahead and put in matrix B. So I go over, and that's a 2 by 1. So then that's just going to be 2 and 8. So now I have those matrices all set. So I have it highlighted right here that this is A and this is B to make my life a little bit easier. So all I'm going to do is say that this is A -1 to talk about my inverse. So A -1 times B. Put that in the calculator. So, alrighty, we have a clear screen here because we quit out. So go second matrix, hit enter because it's A, and then right here you're going to see a -1 as an exponent, x to the -1. So hit that button and you have A to the -1, and then times B. So go to matrix, go down to B, hit enter. So this is what you want to have happen. Now, to give you a little bit of heads up, sometimes our answers are going to be in fractions. So to make your life a lot easier, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this math button and say arrow frac, which means turn my answer to a fraction. So what you see right here, this is what you want. A inverse times B fraction. Boom. That's your answer. So in this case, we didn't have a fraction for an answer. I got 3, 4. So what is that? That represents this x right here, or our answer. So that means that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 4. This is always going to go in alphabetical order as long as you put it in alphabetical order. And so that's your answer. All right. So hit pause. Why don't you try this next one? Why don't you try B and then come on back? All righty. So let's see. If you did this right, you should have gotten the answer 2, 3. So if you got that, you can skip to the next part. If we need to keep going, then let's check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new matrix. So I'll clear out everything there. If you want to reset it, I go second memory, go down to reset, and then all your RAM, hit enter, and then down to reset, and then that's going to clear it so you don't have any matrices there anymore. So, didn't want to go to mode, I'm sorry. So second matrix, we're now going to put in another 2 by 2. So 2, 2, and then it's going to be 2, 3, 9, 0, and then I'll put in my next matrix, and that's going to be a 2 by 1, which is 13, 18, alrighty. So then we do our matrix A. So this was A, and this was B, but remember we want our answer, because that's X, is A inverse times B. So we're going to go ahead and have A, so hit A, but then hit the inverse button, that X to the -1, and then times matrix B. You can go times B, or you can just write B right next to it, and the calculator will know that this is going to be 2, 3. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, sports fans. So we said that this is how you solve it by inverses. How do you solve it by RREF? Because we really liked up here how you could just plug it in one matrix. So basically is how do you solve this using RREF using just one matrix? Okay, so write the matrix 3, -5, 7. Write this matrix as 2, 1, 4. So that is our matrix. It went X, Y, number it equals to. Okay, and the way we're going to get our answer, just so you know, is I'm going to go 1, 0, 0, 1. So this right here is our identity matrix, so don't worry about it. But what we're going to be looking for is these answers right here. So the answers at the end are going to be what we're looking for. However, this needs to always look like this if you did it correctly. Cool? So now that we have that all set up, I'm going to go ahead and go into, I'm just going to make this matrix 3 here, or C. So it's going to be a 2 rows by 3 column matrix. So 3, -5, 7, 2, 1, 4. And then we're going to go ahead and we're not doing inverses. We're doing RREF. So I'm going to go second matrix. And rather than going all the way down, I'm going to go up to RREF. And then put in matrix C, because that's where I have my information there. And notice I get this crazy fraction, which meant I should have known, or sorry, decimal, which means I should have known better to make this a fraction. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go up and I'm going to highlight that. So usually I know that I did the up arrows. So I can up and down, highlight that, hit enter, and then go to math and hit arrow frac. Boom. There we got. So our answer is 27. Well, that's not my 27 over 13. And then I'll erase this. And then -2 over what? Let's double check. 13. So we get some saucy decimals. Imagine having to do that by hand. No, thank you. All right, let's try this one. Give it a shot. So hit pause. Come on back. So let's start with our first matrix. 10, -9, uno. Second matrix. 7, 6, 13. Brackets, because it's a matrix. R, R, E, F. So I'm going to clear out all this stuff because there's a lot in there. So I'm going to go back to matrix C, since it's already all set up for me. It's a 2 by 3 in there. And then we go 10. Oh, sorry. That's why I screwed that up, right? It's a 2 by 3. And then I'm going to put in my numbers. So 10, -9, 1, 7, 6, 13. So then I'm going to go ahead and quit out. Now the nice thing is that you just did right up here that RREF. So remember, use the arrow keys again. Go up, up, highlight it, hit enter, and then boom. So remember, it's got to have that 0 ones, and then this is our answer right here. So the answer is 1, 1. So what that means is x equals 1, y equals 1. Cool? I really like the RREF because it's faster. Now, oh my goodness gracious, I got x's, so let's check this out. I got an x, I got a y, and a z, and some numbers. So that's how I'm going to orient this, is I'm going to call this x, y, z, and then numbers. So in our first one here, friends, so on this top one, I have a -3 for x, but there's 0 y's, then a 1 z, and then it equals 9. On the second one, I have a -1 for x, again have a 0 y because there's no y's, and then a 2 for my z, and it equals 2. And then I have a 2. I finally have a -1 y, and then 0 z's, and that's going to be 10. So this is my matrix right here. I really like doing the rewrite here on the top with the x, the y, and the z's, and just put in zeros for where you're missing something. So now it's RREF time. But in this case, I have a 3 by 4 matrix. So go ahead and go to our matrix. I'm going to go second matrix, go over to edit, go all the way down to D here. So this is going to be a 3 rows by 4 matrix. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to shrink this so we can see it a little bit better. Maybe. There we go. Thank you, touchscreen. All right, so -3, 0, 1, 9, then -1, 0, 2, 2, 2, -1, 0, 10. All right, thankfully put everything in there. It might be beneficial for you to look through and just make sure you put everything in right. You can use these arrows to go up and down to kind of see that. But then we'll go second quit out there. Going to go second matrix all the way down to RREF. And then remember, we put in our stuff into matrix D this time. And so then I'll say, hey, I don't want a crazy fraction on this one because we do get some crazy fractions. So I'm going to go math, arrow frac, hit enter. Bazinga. Look at those. So I got 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, boom, boom, boom. Psh. So this is what we have to start it off. That's the identity matrix. This is saying this is your X, this is your Y, that's your Z, that's what it means. But really we care about the next numbers right next to it, which are negative 16 over 5, so that's your X. And then for your Y, we can see we have negative 82 over 5, and then negative 3 over 5. So just appreciate that for a second, having to do that by hand, okay? Because that would be hell. So, ladies and gents, you're on D. Put it in the calculator, hit pause. Let's see what you get. So welcome back. If my math is right, I got 2, negative 2, 5. So if you got that right, you can go ahead and skip on to the next one. If not, let's check a look. So X, Y, Z number. So my first one here, I got a 1, 1, and negative 1. So 1, 1, negative 1, negative 5. This next one here, I got a 3, negative 1, 1, 13. And then 2, negative 1, 4, 26. All right, it's RREF time, and just as I said, you get that as your answer. Okay, so let's skip on to this next one here, number 5. So here we have an actual real-life example. So Mila has bagels and donuts at a bakery, so I'm going to call bagels X and donuts Y. Alrighty, so last week she bought 4 bagels, so remember that's X, and 3 donuts, that's Y. So we're going to go 4X plus 3Y, and that was 555. I think it was supposed to be 550, but we'll move on. And then for the donuts, this is 5, 5. So 5 donuts, 5 bagels is equal to $8. Cool? So you have options, and then this is where you get to pick. So since I'm doing the video here, I'm all about the RREF. One matrix makes it easier. So 4, 3, 5.55, 5, 5, $8. So this is my matrix right here. So we're off to calculator land. So I'll just move this over here to where I can see it. So that is a 2 by 3 matrix. So go to second matrix and go over to a 2 by 3 since it's already set up in C. So 2 by 3. So 4, 3, 5.55. I think that's supposed to be 5.0, but we'll roll with it. 5, 5, 8. Cool. So then we're going to go ahead and hit second matrix, or quit out, excuse me. Second matrix, go to my RREF. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to matrix. I put it in C, because that was my 2.3. And then say arrow fraction. So 3/4 and 17/20. So that's what my X is, and that's what my Y is. Now, let's be honest, we don't really operate in that one. So that's 75 cents. And then if we did 17 divided by 20, 85 cents. I need to go there. Because the last time I went and got bagels and donuts, it was not 75 cents. It was like $3. Alrighty, sports fans, that is our video for today. Hopefully this helps. We'll catch you next time.